Hello everyone, and welcome to the semi-final stream of the TOF Lord of the Points economy between Eternity and Respect. Two top teams which are set to give us a really good game. I'm commentating for you today. My name is James, and across the virtual desk is Skeleton1. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing fine myself, and how about you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Really up for this game today with two really top teams who have made it so far in the Lord of the Points.
Right, both teams already managed to win against strong teams, each of them without having any of their own flags captured.
Yeah, both teams have no losses so far, perfect streak pretty much. Both of these teams eased through the group stages. I think Respect with a 100% record, win record, and Eternity with only one tie, but still topping their group in the group stage. So Eternity overcame Limerence. They beat Limerence 3-0 to reach the semi-final, and Respect, respectively, overcame Black and White, who are a pretty experienced clan. They also won 3-0 as well, so that brings them to the semi-final. So it should be a great game.
Right, so the battle just started with both teams going for the capture point. You see them spreading out. Only one person each team going for point C.
Yeah, so right off the bat we can see the center point, point A, being captured by Burn Flame. I think point A will be the most crucial point to capture, because a lot of the fight will be in the center, as you can see just now with players like Lost, GGWP Explosive against Gothic, Burn Flame, and Elucia God, all in the center fighting.
Right, the points B and C rather will have some advantage for a single hits into the center, but not really have the big fight on them, as they're actually pretty small and bad to get to.
I'm only noticing, is it one heavy hull per team? Which I suppose in a bigger map like this is kind of okay, because you know, like it's gonna take a lot of time to move to each control point. So with a heavy hull, you're not gonna be able to move as fast. So it kind of makes sense to have only one in your team.
Right, though once you get to the point A and you have an Izida behind you, that hull will really have its advantage over light hull at least, obviously, and the medium hull depending on the weaponry used.
Yeah. So right now the score is 6-3 in
we could just see how the main amount of points has been captured by Team Red. So instead of ABC being captured and E as well by Team Blue, now Team Red took over for A and B, and still is fighting for C, probably gonna take over. Yes, there it is now. So only Odd being there.
Seeing how splash damage turrets are being used, which is pretty useful. Like we're seeing a Firebird, which is really effective when there's a massive crush in the control points, because then you can damage many people at the same time.
Right, those weapons have to be used in the right way though.
Yeah, because look at Modest down at point D. He was able to cause a lot of damage on Gothic and Raphaelka.
Now he has to
moves back
fall back though.
As Gothic and Raphaelka come in to take out Modest, and they'll try and take control point B. Meanwhile, we've got point E being taken over by Raphaelka as well.
Still trying to protect it, Modest, and I live with that loss. Though no chance to get that against that team of Raphael and Pam.
Yep, Control point C is looking pretty secure with Force sitting on control point C, who notably is back in esports now. If you remember, he had a ban previously, but there was a tournament called the Chance, which finished recently, and he achieved the top 4 place, which meant that he got unbanned, so he's able to participate in esports tournaments now.
Right. So, for example, in the center right now, you can see 2 heavy hulls, one with a Vulcan and one with a hammer, both rather new turrets, and then an Izida on the Viking, which seems to be pretty strong as they now cap the center for quite a time.
So we can see on point D as well, I Live Without Laws is taking that from the red team's possession.
Rafaela now coming to take it back and being joined by Gothic and Pyam.
Yeah. Eternity leading this though, 13-8, with just over 5 minutes remaining. Still a pretty tight game, with both teams controlling the points pretty well.
Team Blue now taking over in the center with a Vulcan and Twins, so both weapons being with no charges. The Vulcan has its overheating.
Yeah. So what do you think is the best use for Vulcan in this map?
So there are 2 uses you can have it for. Either you have it in the center point A, as it's obviously very good with a heavy hull, because you have the life which you can sacrifice because you mostly have an Izida with you. Or you can stand on point B or C to capture or secure it, whilst also shooting into the center and supporting your team.
Yeah, because I noticed Lost in the center for Respect is doing a really good job of just controlling that mid and focusing on anybody taking the outer control points with the Isida to help him to ensure he doesn't self-destruct, which is really, really good.
Where is the Isida right now? I can't find him, at least for now.
Maybe just spawning in.
Yeah, he's on the way back, though they both now rather go to help their team, as no one, at least for the last few seconds, tried to attack point A.
Yeah, well, in the past minute, the tables have really turned. The play has now turned in the favor of
Respect once again. They once again have 4 of the 5 points.
Yeah, nice control of the map from Respect there.
Right, with only 4 minutes left, they have doubled the amount of points than Eternity currently has. And with the current capturing style, Respect at least has its advantage.
Yeah, the main thing for Respect is that they've been able to control point A so well, and it's not really allowed Eternity to come into the center, take control point A, and then move outwards to the outer points, whereas Respect have just been great overall of their control.
So right now we have a battle where we can see that Vulcan has its advantage, as it has unlimited ammo rather than Flex there with his hammer, though he has the instant damage, but it wasn't enough, so Gothic, right now...
For Eternity, Gothic doing a nice job at control point B, doing some damage whilst camping up there, although he's outnumbered by Crazy and Modest, who look to overtake that control point. So it looks like Eternity are getting some points back now, with Crazy though trying to take point D under pressure by Gothic, who places a mine. Crazy avoids it though.
Crazy actually driving across Gothic to make him miss the shot. Gothic hitting a crucial shot to maybe... No, he heals up, so once again he has to hit 3 shots. No chance against Ricochet with those fast shots and fast reloading.
Yep. Now it seems to be Eternity who have control of the central point, with Flex, as you can see, with the Titan Hammer. Although he's taken out and outnumbered by many players of the blue side.
Right, so currently we have also I Live Without Laws and GGWP and Exclusive taking over once again for the center.
Nice use of Overdrive by, was it Burn Flame?
Live Without Laws taking the drops in a wise way, so he has almost full drag, even though he just lost his double damage.
Although the supplies are on, the drops do have a small bit of an effect. Obviously, if you can get them, they'll provide you with an advantage, saving you from wasting the drops.
Right, and at least for the time where you have a cooldown.
Yep.
So we can see Crazy right now against Gothic, both having their own overdrives ready. Raphael also joining Gothic here in the match, adding extra damage, which can be very crucial to that battle.
Yep.
Now we have Firebit against Firebird with Modest against Raphaelka.
Yeah, a lot of the time we can see point A always being taken. But there'll always be another point that's being taken as well. Like right now we can see point B, but I'm finding that the other points at the same time are just being quite neglected, just simply because there's so much action everywhere elsewhere.
So point C seems not really worth the effort, so it's mainly being taken by Respect, and then we have points like E and D, which are rather not really cared too much about. Though once in a while when you spawn close to it, you see that, for example, Modest right now, he just spawned in the corner and takes it. Now I see it already is there.
Yeah. I think also certain players have a certain job, like they'll have to go to a specific point. Like earlier we saw Force always controlling point C for the blue side. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the first round in Gubata.
30 to 39. Being the first win for Respect against Eternity.
Yeah, so Respect take this with some nice overall control of the map, so a really nice job there.
So for the last round, do you think you will see major changes in strategies?
No, I don't think there'll be major changes in strategy. I think it will just be whoever manages to control the central point will have the best outcome in this game, because Respect were always had the majority of the control of point A, so therefore they were able to control the rest of the map because they always had a Vulcan to focus elsewhere. So it's just all about who can get to the center. So possibly Eternity would want to change their turret that camps in the center, because I think they were using a hammer.
Hammer and twins, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how effective that is, because whereas with Respect can use a Vulcan, can shoot everywhere, has no range limitation really. Whereas
the thing about the center here is it's a very small point, so Vulcan has no disadvantage, even though the turret turning speed is quite low once you start shooting.
And it is pretty sheltered if there's like a railgun on the outside, because obviously you have the walls which are outside point A. So I think Respect have this one correct by using a Vulcan. So it's just seeing if Eternity can learn from that, or if they're gonna stick with what they've got.
So for the beginning of the last round, for example, we could see that Respect took over for the points E, obviously, as it was their spawn point, B and C, and also A. So they had the beginning with all 4 points, apart from D being the spawn point for Team Red, so therefore Eternity. But apart from that, they really hold the middle. But then after a few minutes, we saw that Eternity took over, but instead of taking C and B alongside A, they actually cut through the middle, taking D and E.
Yeah, well, here we have Eternity taking 4 of the 5 points at the start. A nice push across the map to take all the points apart from point D. But the important thing for them was to push immediately to point A with their required players to enable control of that point.
Right, so for example, right now we can see that Modest and Live Without Laws, as well as Crazy, took over the rest of the points, which have at the beginning been taken by Eternity.
Yeah, the points have quickly switched hands into the hands of Eternity.
So actually, Respect is now only in the center, having its only point in the center, doing a good job at defending it, though it's only a point. It's not worth that much effort we only have this 1 point. Rather, they should spread out once again and try to take rather those outcasted posts where you have your points which you can easily secure with 1 or 2 men, rather than this big effort which you have to put in to get the central point. Even though it's crucial to control the map, it makes sense to only have this one single point in the center.
Yeah, I'm liking the use of freeze for Eternity, and you can see over at point E with I think it's useful because not only can the freeze cause splash damage to many people in the one area that are at the point, he can also intercept anybody traveling to the point and slow them down to enable his teammates to capture the point. So that's really useful.
Right, though as far as I know, I didn't play freeze myself that much. Though didn't freeze lose the effect to slow your tank down apart from slowing your turning speed for the turret? So it's rather they're not able to fight too much for the time you shoot them, though they are still as fast.
I think it was slightly nerfed. But right now we can see Crazy and Modest taking over point E, with I Live Without Laws blocking the Eternity players from coming in. Right,
so currently it's now point C instead of point A, but still all 4 points being held by Respect.
So yeah, look at Force on point C. He's just camping there with a shaft. That's a pretty
unusual weapon for this small of a map.
Yeah, because this map is pretty fast-paced, and with the shaft it's kind of difficult.
Though he's apparently not really taken care of by anyone, so he can cause a lot of damage, as Shaft is already known for that.
Yeah, I mean, not only is he sniping with it, he's sort of using the arcade mode kind of shots with the double power which is still causing a lot of damage. So full credit to him for being bold and using Shaft.
Right, for example, now he had a battle against Rafaelko, where he had no chance to just load up his shot, as Twins obviously not only doing a lot of damage, but also make it really hard to aim.
Yeah, plus he has a very low firing rate as well. So in close combat, it's pretty difficult to play one-on-one for a control point.
Right, so now Rafaelko taking over point C, shooting also into the center, as this map really has its main focus in the center. You can use most weapons to even shoot into the center, even though you're more or less focusing on capturing one other point.
Yep, we can see Modest going in on point B along with Crazy again, coming in against Gothic, who will be outnumbered. So I think it's fair to say that each player does have a specific point that they'll focus on, because that's again point B, Crazy and Modest both going in there.
Right, and for example, we can see for Force at least that he apparently recognized that his point is more or less not taken care of by his enemy, so he had the option to change to a weapon where you really don't need to, which you don't use in close combat, but he didn't really have the close combat, so he didn't need it.
Yeah, maybe it could catch the players off guard as well. Just with the protection modules, they may not expect that the opposition will use a shaft in this map.
Right, for example, right now I can see no one wearing any shaft protection, and as far as I'm concerned, a Viking can be one shot by a shaft, right?
Yeah, a Viking can be one shot by a shaft.
So, for example, that can be very crucial to take over the center, shooting the Izida healing, as both teams have a Viking Izida.
Yep. So we see again in the center, this time Eternity.
Team Blue being now Eternity.
Yeah, they have a nice control of point A.
We actually had a draw for the past seconds, so now taking over by Eternity with 3 points in the lead.
Yep, this time in the last round, things were a bit more one-sided, but right now it's a little bit closer.
Right, Respect rather built up their winning position with a lot more points at the beginning, doubled the points, but later on just 8 points in the lead.
Yeah, So I find in this round, Eternity are doing a better job of controlling the central point, which is good for them, because the first round they didn't do it so well. So yeah, all the points right now are being controlled by the red side of Respect.
So we can see that Respect is apparently very. Eternity is having issues that they have to put a lot of a little bit more effort into getting points like point C back, as not only who is there Force with the shaft being at that point, but also he has the support of his team putting mines for him, so he doesn't have to worry about single players coming there to attack him.
Yeah, exactly. Right now we can see Eternity trying to make an effort to retrieve their points, but yet again, Respect have full control apart from point E, and that brings the score to 29-21 with just over 2 minutes to go.
So do you think that we'll even see at least one time where there's full control, all 5 points being taken by one team? Do you think that is something we will see?
Well, we saw it a minute or so ago, but whether it happens again remains to be seen. But even if it does happen, it doesn't last for long, because you know, by the time you've controlled all the points, like the likelihood of that happening is when all of the other team are respawning. So by the time they've spawned again, there would just be simply too many numbers on the map. So,
right, actually we just had it for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And now odds
see,
winning the single battle against Crazy.
Too many players on the opposite side to be able to maintain your 5-point advantage, like the control of the 5 points. So it doesn't last for too long, but you want to be able to keep it for as long as possible, obviously, because that will increase your score by quite some amount.
Right, so right now we could see a long time battle between Lost and Flex, being the battle between Twins and Vulcan, both with an Izida behind them, though a flank from Eternity, from Respect here, enabling them to take out the enemy's Izida and therefore taking over the point once again.
So Respect doing a nice job of controlling the center. So they've got 2 heavy hulls for Respect. One Twins is mounted on a Titan, and the Vulcan is also mounted on a Titan.
We can actually see a railgun Titan in Eternity's team.
Yeah, but I'm thinking 2 heavy hulls is good. I know we said earlier about maybe one is better, so you have a speed advantage. But if you're gonna have someone constantly in the center, I suppose having another heavy hull isn't the worst idea, since if one guy dies, there's always another one there while he respawns to take control of the center.
Right, and the Izida is probably still there anyways, so he can just start healing the other one instead of the first one, or even as Izida has the double healing with his double damage.
In a big sort of crush like that, you want to focus on the Izida first, so that the teammates can't get healed anymore.
Right, as we just saw by Respect. So this is another win for Respect. Now with the 46-32, actually more points than last round.
Yep. So Respect win this, and so we go into the next map, which will be
Monte Carlos, I remember.
Yeah.
Actually, an interesting map for this mode. It's in very open space. Do you think we'll see a lot of? Do you think we'll see light hulls being used a lot?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I think mostly medium. But I think the key emphasis on this map, on the next map, will be like camping, and like long range turrets. Because like people want to use long range turrets to focus on anyone who's coming up the long roads. Because you know, by the time they get to the control point, they'll have no health points left. So that'll be the emphasis.
Right. So far as I remember, Monte Carlo has a control point at the bottom right, in the center, right?
I
I haven't played that map in CP too much, but
not a very common map. But it will be a very fun watch. I'll just wait till I get the link and I'll jump right in.
for example, another decision hard to make is, do you want an Izida on that map? As it's a very open space, you don't really have too many places to hide. So either you decide to hide your Izida, though then your tanks will obviously exposed entirely.
Yeah,
And
well,
even though they have a lot of health, you can just snipe them with 3 railguns. So I think a Mammoth takes 5 to 6 shots to die. That will just one reload for 3 people.
Yeah, I think it's still useful though to use an Isida. Anyway, because it does bring an advantage, like regardless of how much like cover you have from walls and that, because the Isida can still camp like behind like a heavier hull and like have the heavier hull soak up damage while the Isida heals it. So
I suppose Striker will be a good weapon for that map as well.
Yeah, because there are like many ramps, very tall ramps, which the striker can.
Right, so Striker has not only his multiple shot ability, but also you can just do single shots for situations where you don't really want to focus that long or rather expose yourself for that long of a time. But also you can use the splash damage to not only kill the heavy hull or damage the heavy hull, but also kill the Izida, which might be standing behind some obstacle.
Yeah, exactly. So going into this round, Respect have the advantage, obviously being 2-0 up in runs. It's all up to Eternity to try and claw this back and leave us for an exciting last 2 rounds. But yeah, right now it's all in Respect's favor.
Right, so did I get it right that we will have a total of 6 battles at least?
Yeah, well, so so basically there'll be 2 rounds in each map, and then in the event of a tie at the end, if there is a tie, the teams will continue to play on that map until there's a first win.
Wonderful. So obviously, Respect will have the easier position as they already won 2 rounds. Yeah. Though, do you think they'll just lean back and kind of relax, or do you think they'll still do all in?
No, by leaning back and relaxing is always the worst case thing to do. I think in any map, in any match, you always have to go out and get it, because you just can't underestimate the enemy. Because okay, they might think that they have the early advantage and they can rest, but they want to just go out there and kill it off as quickly as possible. Because if you leave it too late, it will eventually bite you in the back, so to speak.
Right.
But yeah, so the winner of this game will go into the final against either Easy Leiko or Avance La Finale, who are playing their match. And the loser will go into the bronze match. Some pretty tasty prizes as well, I must say, in this
tournament.
Yeah. Because the first place will get 1 million crystals per team, 8 units of supply kit for the whole team, 3 M3 modules for the team, and then each member of the team will get like 1 supplies kit, acid paint, and the Spectrum MB module, which provides 20% protection from all turrets. So yeah, pretty impressive prizes. So it's all to play for.
Right, and the crystal prize is actually being very good too, with 150,000 crystals for each group stage match.
Yeah, that's another thing. For each match that's won, the players will receive crystals. So it's not like players are going away empty-handed. There's still plenty to play for.
So at least Eternity and Respect, they both already did a pretty good job at securing that amount of crystals, with both teams having 7 matches, right? Actually, Respect, I think it was, having 8 matches won already so far, just in the group stage.
We'll be having a lot of rich players running around Tanky Online.
Actually being pretty good for a VIP with a full M4
and
option.
For the second place, it's not too bad as well. 800,000 crystals per team, 7 units of supply product kit, and 4 M3 modules for the team's choice. And then third place will get 600,000 crystals for the team and 4 M3 modules of the team's choice. So pretty nice.
Yeah, so we can we at least have the battle already now. Gonna start in a few minutes. So yeah, we have actually 2 capture points at the bottom. You don't see it yet probably, but with 1 point in the center top and those 2 points where you usually have the flags being A and C. Which ones do you think will be the most crucial points to keep?
For this one, I think it's more of a spread of the map. There's no point that seems more important than the other. Although, I think point A may be a little bit more of an advantage, just because it's higher up. And anywhere that's higher usually has an advantage. Although
you mean compared to C or compared to
also because the fact it's probably easier to get to as well, whereas like the points like D and C, you kind of have to travel a bit of a distance to get to, and by that time you've probably taken a lot of damage from like the enemy team. So we'll just have to
right. So for example, points D and E actually being completely out in the open, you have no chance of hiding down there. You can just be sniped from more or less any point of the enemy's team.
I know what it's like from playing CTF battles, that it's incredibly hard to go from one side of the map to the other. In control point, it will be pretty difficult as well, considering your aim is just to stand on the point to control it. It'll be difficult for both teams to be able to get across the map in time to...
Right, so for example, for CTF at least, you can just make this try and like you have a group of maybe 2 or 3 people, one just taking the flag, but the other, the rest, either 1 or 2, trying to take all the hits and distracting the enemy, whilst you just either jump across the ramp, which is right in front of the flag, or try to go to the side where there's the second ramp. So you mostly don't really want to go downstairs, but now you actually are forced to do so for those 2 points.
Yeah, and in this map, you always have to go the long way as well, because if you try and take a shortcut, unless you have like a wasp with the nitro, it's going to be difficult to get across the sort of jump.
Right, actually, I think Viking is capable of that too, with nitro.
I suppose it's
so
pretty,
then you may not be hit by anything at all.
Yeah.
So for example, right, we can see by Onyx, Odd, and your bodyguard. So the first round beginning on Monte Carlo.
Yeah, well, we just saw I Live Without Laws making a jump across the little pit, and see, they're being focused upon as they're trying to jump. You saw Force a second ago get taken out by a railgun, and Modus almost got taken out as he jumped across the gap.
Right, so if we have a look at the weaponry right now, as for Team Red, for example, I can see Ricochet, Hammer, no, Hammer, I don't see Hammer, Ricochet, Thunder, Railgun, all sorts of rather ranged weapons, though Odd actually having Hammer, which is a strong weapon, and at least for trying to make this jump it as hard as possible, though you have to get to this close combat, which is hard on a so stretched map as Monte Carlo.
Yeah, well, now thinking of what you said before about what would be the most important point, right here we can see that it's probably maybe B actually is the most important point to capture, because we can see right now with your bodyguard and Rafaelka there for Eternity, they're just like camping above and doing damage on anybody that's on the nearby points.
Right, they can actually shoot to any point. They even have the possibility to shoot down to D and E.
Yeah.
Though you can see that it's really hard to keep that point up there, as
Yeah.
even though they have these small blockades, even a ricochet can just use them to hit you still, even if you whilst you try to hide behind those.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking the ricochet is probably using the alteration as well, which gives him a much longer range.
Honestly, I don't remember how far you can reach on this map with ricochet. I never played that weapon too much on this map, rather stuck to railgun and shaft. So honestly, I suppose it might be a good alteration. Obviously, with this whole, long stretch, though, you have to remember, ricochet has the disadvantage that the projectile actually has to travel all the distance, whilst railgun or smoky and such weapons just instantly hit.
Yeah, that's a good point. But your bodyguard is doing a great job in the center. Was just taken out by Crazy, but right now we can see Eternity doing a decent job of controlling point B. Although he is under some pressure from I Live Without Laws.
Right, he just took over, obviously, with the
Yeah.
full health whilst going into that battle. Had the advantage, though your bodyguard now with the same advantage going in.
Point D is a little bit neglected right now by Eternity, just simply because it's the hardest for them to get to. But they're trying to make a little
But once
bit
you
of a
got
push.
to him, you have you make it hard for your enemy.
Yeah,
So
because after controlling point E, you can see they're trying to make a push with Burn Flame, and Flex.
actually having both Titans down there, twins and Vulcan, two Vulcans actually battling each other, but not really anyone doing any progress
Yeah,
concerning the damage.
Most of the action happening down there. Although Respect were more successful in that little bit of a fight, and now they're going to take point E, with Flex and Burn Flame trying to push in on them, but not making too much of a damage.
Right, so we can see Respect now having the lead with 3-0. Even though both teams obviously capture points often, but you have to hold them for a time to get those points.
Yeah. So yeah, the blue side, Respect, having most of the possession of the points right now, apart from point A, which is doing pretty well in their favor. Scores 6-1. Although Eternity are trying to take point B over.
Yeah, they actually probably gonna do that right now. Even if it wasn't for them, yeah, they just need to stay there to capture at least first.
Yeah, so that's your bodyguard. There, again, camping with the Ricochet. Although he's suffering some damage from Striker.
Right, so we could just watch Onyx, for example, shooting at I Live Without Loss, though a Vulcan just doesn't have the recall, or rather the pushback to make you fall down.
So you can see Modest over on the bridge, causing quite a bit of damage with the Striker. Do you think Striker's good in this map?
Well, the problem is that you have all those supplies as an option. So you don't only have heal, but you also have the overdrive. So you have two types of healing yourself, and even though Striker has the advantage of doing damage on multiple tanks at once, you must remember that every single player has the overdrive for himself, but also for all the players which are close to him. So I think Striker can be strong, but if you have a bad timing for your attack, you just won't have any effect, because once you're shot, you have this long reload time.
Yeah, a second ago you saw Eternity trying to take over point D, but all three of their players taken out and lost. Remains down at point D for Respect, keeping point D. And now they try and push for point E, which is in Eternity's territory.
actually making him probably lose point D now, as even though he has the Izida there,
Yeah, a lot more.
losses just alone concerning his damage.
What I was going to
And
say is, a lot of the more entertaining fight is down below, between point D and E, because you have point D, which is in, respects half of the map, and then you have point E, which is in Eternity's part of the map, and it's really cool to watch the fight that happens at the bottom of that bridge.
right, it appears like a push and pull always continuously
a tug of war, always, yeah.
Yeah, back and forth, a lot like a constant keeping, like point C and A. So for example, right now point B is held by Eternity actually with Odd up there, but with his close range weapon, obviously no chance against Crazy and Force. Or I Live Without Loss now jumping over as well.
Yeah, right now we can see Crazy camping with a railgun.
But he's going to be faced by Onyx, a great place of that mine whilst jumping above the ramp, but unfortunately no hit.
Yep, a little battle here between Bronze Paint and Star Paint.
So we see very good plays by both players actually trying to make Onyx lose that shot.
Speaking of the paints that these players have got, a lot of these players are from very top clans. Like, for example, we see
Respect
like,
having some members who just recently won the DCM, the German tournament where you win the Star Paint.
There's also a few Synergy players as well across both teams. Such as Alucia God and Gothic, who were playing the previous round as well. But many of these teams part of top clans. Also Onyx winning the Bronze Paint with International in the last clan championship.
Right. So right now, Respect once again took over the center, putting mines everywhere, both sides being secured that way, though as it's mostly long-range weapons, not that effective probably, unless you have people like your bodyguard right now moving in, hitting those double mines, being back down to almost 0 health. No chance against the Thunder and Crazy there.
Yep, we can see Eternity making a nice push on point D.
Right, so for the last 35 seconds, now we have a score of 20-26, with Respect having 5 points in the lead, now 21 for Eternity.
Although Eternity do have an extra point captured at the moment compared to Respect, so...
Right, though that is not enough for 20 seconds, because only every 10 seconds you get 1 point for each point you've captured. So now it's a 2-point difference. I think they will get 1 more point at 0 seconds. I'm not sure about that though. No, they don't. So this is now the loss, the lose once again for Eternity.
25-23 victory for Respect. Well done to them.
Right. Though it would have been a win actually for Eternity if it was for one last point being given for in the last second happening. So good job, but not soon enough.
Yeah, so basically, as we switch sides, Eternity need to win this round, because if they don't and Respect win this, mathematically there's not enough runs for Eternity to come back.
Right, so that will be another match or another opponent which Respect then won against with 0 points scored by the enemy for the total score. Which shows a real strength in their play style.
So I wonder if in this round we'll see a change in who is able to control point B, which is the most important one, which we saw.
Right, though, even though last round we could see that it's been a constant swap between both teams. Every once in a while, the other one just taking over, just like it was for the bottom ones, D&E, push and pull. But we will see about that.
Yep.
New round, new techniques. We actually see a Wasp right now with Mr. Drawn down there for Team Blue. So I'm happy to see how that will be used, as it is Wasp Twins. Twins being the weapon which deals a lot of damage over time, but Wasp not being just not the hull to do so.
Yeah, although he did just leave the battle, so I don't think we will see a Wasp.
Would have been cool though.
Yeah, so that's us underway in this fourth round in Monte Carlo.
Right. Respect actually being faster for going to point B, though it's only one player added right now.
Yeah.
Mata is coming as well. Force also going in with the shaft once again.
Yeah.
He apparently likes this weapon, but honestly, it is a really good choice for this map.
Yeah, shaft is brilliant for this map because it enables you to camp on the bridges. You have little walls which you can hide behind to prevent enemies firing at you, and at the same time you can control a point.
Right, and also you have the great advantage. This map you want a Viking instead of, or you mainly have Vikings anyways in this mode which we're playing, but also you on this map you really want the Viking with the being the heaviest hull, which can still jump across those small gaps. So having shaft, you can still one-shot all those Vikings.
Yeah.
Or at least damage them a lot. And actually, for example, right now he's going a little back, having to defend against Burn Flame. Though once he's done with him, well, he didn't win that fight. Though he can do a lot of damage to those tanks down there also.
Yeah,
like I think only 2 shots are needed to kill them.
Two, yeah. One thing I've noticed is that the heavy hulls are only being deployed down below to points D and E, which makes sense because for capturing the upper points like point A, for example, you're gonna have to need tanks to jump over the gaps,
right?
And it's a bit pointless having a heavy hull up there where you might need
right. And also as we already mentioned at the beginning, you're completely out in the open down there, so you want a heavy hull who can take this heavy shot from a chef, for example, every once in a while with no problem.
Yeah,
as long as the Zeta's there at least.
Like we were saying, the sort of tug of war between points D and E. You're going to need as much firepower and strength as possible.
Right. For example, now we can see freeze actually being used, so they see that they are mostly in close combat, switching over to close combat weapon. Joining the Vulcan for respect right now. So an interesting combination, at least for defending the point, is mostly he has to go to the enemy. He has to go away from the point.
Yeah. Although the red side of respect are doing a good job of pushing away next Elliot and Flex, although they were quickly outnumbered, which enables Eternity to make a push on point E. But while they're doing this, the respect team are respawning, so it's going to be kind of difficult for them at the moment.
Right, though there's I think there's 3 players from the team Eternity constantly trying to push for E, and there's 3 players for respect constantly pushing for point D. So you can see that it's actually pretty balanced, that you have 4 and 3 players for the bottom and top half of the map, which is quite an interesting division.
Yeah, it's a very balanced game, as we can see evidently by the scoreline, which is 12-9 to respect right now. Now 13-10 could go any way.
Right, Modest actually being in the center, though he can't capture right now with Odd coming for him. And Odd being the close range weapon, and Modest with Striker.
Modest has an overdrive as well available to use. but I think it's better saving that to when he needs to help his teammates.
Right. As we all know, overdrive you mainly use to not only give full direct to yourself, but also your entire team and heal up and so on,
Because there
which
wasn't
is crucial.
it wasn't entirely necessary that he needed to keep point B, and because his
Right.
team is still in the lead. So
True. Even though right now, yeah, no, they actually still in the lead with one more point
look at
captured.
this excellent control of point D by Lost and GGWP for respect. They advanced really well from their own base to help fend off Elliot, Flex, and Next. But,
Right, though this will be lost for point D at least, so they will have to retreat with those two weapons. Explosive just doesn't have the capabilities to heal Lost all the time, and also he does take damage himself, so yeah, he just died. Now Lost being still there, but the point obviously being captured as two people outnumber Lost alone. Capturing the point as if there was just one blue.
Safe to say that points C and points A will always be captured by the team that's spawning there every single time. I don't think we've seen really at all either of those points being taken by the opposite team.
No, I don't think I have seen that at least once. No. So yeah, they don't even try to. It's not really worth it. It's a point where they will just take it over once again once they spawn.
Yeah.
So the effort putting into there to get there is just too high.
Yeah, the main focus is just those lower points and point B, which right now point B is being taken by force, under a little bit of pressure by Burnflame.
Yeah, with Rafaelka also supporting with the Vulcan once again. Obviously a strong weapon to just shoot in there, which with this constant damage, though you have to remember you do damage yourself, as we could just see.
You can see Odd there trying to make some impact on point A with his hammer, but I don't think he's going to get too far with Force on the other side with backup from Modest to protect point A as they both advance.
Right. Yeah, now rather than advancing to point B, protecting that together with Life Without Loss, who just died to Pam, and Rafaelka trying to take over that center point. And also we can see at the bottom mainly held by, divided currently, and Flex no chance against those two. He lost and GGWP.
Yep. So right now, 3 points captured by Respect and only 2 by Eternity, with the score 17-16 with 2.5 minutes to go. Could go anyway, I suppose. It's just who gets the advantage over the lower points now. So you see who can be the strongest to push to the next point. Right now it's Respect with control of points D and E, which is really important for them, as if they can keep these points, they can increase their lead very much so. With the score 18.
Alright, so at least for now, you can see 3 people from Eternity at the top, keeping B in safe hands. C, obviously, no worries for that one. But all these single attacks, so one after the other, Flex now next. So there's kind of this group attack missing to take over once again for point D. As Spec just pushed Eternity so far back that they'll just attack once they spawn, giving them no chance to group up to do a big attack, which is needed to take over such a group with 2 Titans and a Izida. Yeah,
exactly. Points D and E still in the hands of Respect.
Actually being point A, point actually being taken over by Respect right now.
We have Elliot 132 sitting on point D, while 2 of his teammates go to point E while the base is clear. And they may be able to get something out of this in the last minute of the game, as the score is 19 each.
Right, and Burn Flame just took over point A, which probably neither of us would have suspected them to do.
Yeah, I know. A very rare occurrence. But
was actually taking Respect so much of their concentration back to point A, so now Eternity had the chance to take over all the points, being majorly thrown apart. So B and D both now back in the possession of Eternity. C
Yeah, well,
obviously
Eternity-
also, but I live with that loss, and now goes for point C.
Yeah, making it difficult. Although Eternity really need to try and get something out of this. Otherwise, if they don't, then that's them lost the round. 20
Yes, so
seconds
it's
to
now
go.
20 seconds. One more time that there will be points given away. So for now, it's 3-2
Wow.
for the points captured. So actually, this will be a win. No, it's a tie. No,
21-20
there's
to
the
Respect.
win.
And
There's the
Respect
win.
win this. Wow. 2
So
points in
it's
it.
a 3-2-0 for the total score for Respect. Great job on their behalf. 2 maps.
4-0, sorry.
Oh, 4-0, right, yeah.
Respect have 4 wins. So they win the game.
Great job on their behalf.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Pretty surprising. Considering Eternity are such a strong team, but it just seemed today that Respect's control were just too good.
Right. They really had these maps perfectly skilled, apparently.
They did.
They knew where to go. They managed to have the main focus on the important parts for both maps.
Mm-hmm.
So
that brings us to the close. Basically, that means that Eternity, Respect go on to the final of Lord of the Points economy. They will play either Easy Leco or Avant La Finale, like I said before. But Eternity will drop down into the bronze match where they can fight for the prize of 600,000 crystals. Yeah, any last words, Skillet?
well, I wish you good luck for the next match. And we'll see how this will go out.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for watching the stream today. Hope you enjoyed the promo codes. There'll be plenty more in the next streams to come, so just make sure you stick around for that. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.